Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So I welcome all the participants back to this Gita course. And my name is Acyuta Arjunasakha Das. I think we have met in one of the previous sessions. So today's topic is very, very nice. It's called as Do I Need a Guide in My Life or Not? And we are going to discuss about this topic today. But before doing that, we will do a little bit of kirtan to set the mood, to set the environment, to create the auspiciousness. So let's do that. So I will display the kirtan or the music notations of the song on my laptop, and all of you can listen to me as I sing and then try to follow by seeing what is there on the screen. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatyadeshatarine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatyadeshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Radha Madhav Kunja Bihari Gopi Jan Vallabha Giridharidhari Jaya Radha Madhav Kunja Bihari Gopi Jan Vallabha Giridharidhari Yashodanandana Braj Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Yashodanandana Braj Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Yuga Dharma Harinam Sankirtan Yajna Ki Jai. So welcome everybody once again to this wonderful Gita course. wherein week by week we are progressing into into very, very nice topics. By the way, if you are able to hear me and if you are able to see me nicely, if you are able to hear me loud and clear, then please raise your hands. Electronically, I mean. Okay. What about others? If you're able to hear me loud and clear, please raise your hands. Okay, thank you. So, as and when the weeks are progressing, we are discussing very nice topics, very nice new topics. And slowly and steadily, we are becoming more and more mature. You can lower down your hands now. So, slowly and steadily, we are becoming a little bit mature into this science of God, the divine song of God, which is the Bhagavad Gita. But before starting, we'd like to dedicate this session to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, who is the founder Acharya of ISKCON. And he's also my spiritual grandfather. Everything which I have learned is by his mercy, and everything which I have learned from my seniors. So generally, before starting a session, I generally very respectfully, very gratefully offer my obeisances, my pranams to all my seniors, my guru, and my spiritual grandfather from whom I have learned, in order to thank them, because whatever I say and whatever I speak is simply I'm just trying to repeat what I've heard from them. So I'll just offer some prayers. Those who know, they can follow me. Those who don't, they can try to hear and absorb the sound vibration of these prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahim Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guruho Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswata Deve Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarine Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangam Langhayade Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Harihi Om Tat Sat. So welcome in this wonderful session, which is called as Do I Need a Guide in My Life? But before we begin, let us quickly recapitulate. We have had around 4 sessions till now, which all of you have been very sincerely attending, and you have been coming session after session. This session is the 5th session, but in the previous 4 sessions we have covered why do we need to read the Bhagavad Gita. We understood there are so many needs: physical needs, psychological needs, emotional needs, and even when we fulfill them completely, still there is a spiritual need which yet remains unfulfilled. And until unless this spiritual need is fulfilled, we can never truly achieve complete satisfaction of heart or meaningful happiness in our life. There will be always a void. We discussed that in the first session. And this spiritual need is fulfilled by the Bhagavad Gita, by the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita, and by the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We also understood that there is a spirit soul Jivatma and there is Paramatma or Bhagwan. And the constitutional position of a living entity is to be a loving servant of God. That is the dharma of spirit soul. The dharma of spirit soul is to serve God. Until and unless the spirit soul engages in this occupation, it will not feel truly happy and satisfied. So we understood these points in the first session. In the second session, we saw the success formula. Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara, Tatra Shri Vijayo Bhutir Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. This is the last shloka of Bhagavad Gita, where the success formula is highlighted that have Krishna as the center of your life. Wherever there is Krishna and wherever there are devotees of Krishna, there will always be four things: opulence, victory, morality, and extraordinary power. So the success formula here, that when it translates as a practical application into our life, that would be number one, put Krishna in the center of your house. Worship, make your house first a holy place. Just like Kurukshetra was a holy place for the Pandavas, so they were getting an edge over the Kauravas. So similarly, we have to make our own house as a holy place by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. When we make our house a holy place, and then when we put Krishna in the center, then automatically all the opulence will follow. This is the second step. And third step is, first step is to make the house a holy place. Second step is to place Krishna as the center of our life, the center of our house, center of our existence. And then live a life in and around Krishna, because wherever there is Krishna, all opulences, they will follow. And finally, we have to be in the association of devotees of Krishna who are selfless and who are always very, very compassionate, positive and selfless people. We need association of positive, selfless people. The word selfless is a very, very rare commodity. I think it just exists in the dictionary. It's very difficult to find a selfless person, but the devotees of the Lord are by default selfless people. So we need the association of such selfless people in our life. So for that purpose, we also need association of devotees. This was the success formula, which we saw in the second session. Third session, we did root cause analysis of suffering. We saw that attachment to temporary things and comparison based, and the attitude of comparison and engaging in sinful activities. These are the root causes of or the major causes of our suffering. And we saw that being attached to temporary things is basically useless. We have to be attached to permanent things, and that's the only solution of all problems of our life. Krishna is permanent, so if somebody gets attached to Krishna, that's the best. And lastly, we saw the art of work or karma. We understand what is inaction, what is good work, what is bad work, sakarma, akarma, vikarma. We understood that it's not just the work which matters, but the intention with which we are working also matters. And amongst all kinds of work, akarma, or the work which produces no reactions, or the work which is done as a service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is the best. This much we have understood in the last 4 sessions, and today we are going to explore something a little bit more mature as a topic. Today's agenda is, do I need a guide? Do I need a guide? That's the question. And that's the agenda for the day. Then we will discuss our attitude. Am I ready to accept help from someone? Or let's put it like this. Am I ready to have a guide for myself? We'll try to understand what are the problems which we face in accepting a guide. Are these problems which we are facing genuine problems or self-created problems? We'll discuss these. And different kinds of guides also we will see. And finally, we'll see the practical tip of the day, which can make our life happy. And that is the whole agenda for today. Every session we are giving a practical tip, as promised, that these practical tips, if practiced with a sincere heart and mind, will always make our life happy instantaneously. However, the practical tip which we gave in the first session, which is the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, until unless we do that, the further practical tips are not going to work. Until unless someone regularly chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra at least 10 minutes or maybe one round every day, it is very difficult for them to appreciate the practical tips which we are giving in the future sessions. It is very difficult for them to understand the importance of the discussions on the subject matter which we are doing in these sessions. The discipline to practice this and the intelligence to understand and apply it in our life only comes when we start chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. If we are not doing that, then whatever practical tips we are giving and whatever discussion we are doing, we will not be able to appreciate it. Okay? So let's proceed with today's discussion. Do I need a guide? Okay. This is a question which many times we have asked ourselves. But before coming to the understanding whether I need a guide or not, first we have to understand what knowledge means. And we have been, like I've written here, we have been learning so much about knowledge in these sessions. So if we actually if we are ought to describe the knowledge in maybe just one or two words, then what will be your answer? So what I will do, I will try to open the chat for some time. And every one of you, just try to answer this question. What do you mean by knowledge in just one word or two words? Time given is 30 seconds. The chat is open for everybody. In just one word or maximum two words, please describe what is knowledge. What do you think, according to you, is knowledge? No, that's too many words. One word or two word? Okay, one answer which has come is the ability to differentiate between matter and spirit, power, awareness about self, knowledge is power, light, transferring samsara and dharma from gurus. I don't know what this means. Strength, experience, knowledge is strength, experience, consciousness. Knowledge is infinity. Knowledge is intelligence. Knowledge is experience. Knowledge is a tool. Nice and interesting answers are coming. Thank you for these perspectives. We have another 10 seconds. Please try to come up with more suggestions if you have. Very good. Somehow or the other, this is the first time we have opened a chat box, and actually the chat box is not exploding. So I know the trick now. First put a question and then open the chat box. Okay, last answer. Self-experience is knowledge. Thank you. We close the discussion and then we go back to our okay. So all of you gave wonderful answers. However, after carefully examining what knowledge means, or the definition of knowledge given in the scriptures, we have come to a conclusion that knowledge does not necessarily mean data, and not, sorry to say, but not necessarily it means understanding, experience. Knowledge has got to do something much deeper. If someone asks me to summarize what is knowledge, of course, I have the background of the scriptures, so I can tell from the scriptural reference that the best definition of knowledge is self-control and good character. Anybody, I repeat, anybody who is displaying these two qualities, self-control and good character, they can be called as men of knowledge. It does not matter whether that person is a peon. It does not matter whether that person is a sweeper. It does not matter whether that person is a prime minister or a business tycoon. It doesn't matter. Knowledge means self-control and good character. It does not mean the ability to make a lot of money. It does not mean the ability to influence a lot of people. It does not mean so many degrees to your name. It does not mean a lot of educational qualification. It does not mean a lot of success in your career. Not necessarily. I'm saying it does not necessarily mean that, because we have seen so many so-called people who have a lot of data with them. If you ask them, what are you? I'm from such and such university and I've done such and such course and I have an experience of 30 years of doing this, blah, blah, blah. This is what I am. This is my great position in the society. But if you look into their life, it is scandalous. Very, very scandalous. There was, without taking names, I would like to highlight that there was a coffee chain in India, chain of coffee shops. Everybody used to derive business sutras from the success of this person. And this person was highly educated, educated from one of the best institutes of India, best learnings, best degrees, highly successful, lot of money, well behaved. Every parameter which the society has, on that parameter he was successful. But what happened? This person committed suicide. So will you really feel that this person is of having knowledge? Anybody who has knowledge, will they commit suicide? So like that, we can see so many examples. There had been a CEO in Bangalore when this is somewhere around 2013 or 2012. CEO of a big shot company. He had almost started the company from the scratch, worked really hard, really well known in the business circles of Bangalore. But ultimately, he ended up in a scandal with some of the staff in the office. Such highly respected person, such knowledge, such hardworking, such success, such business acumen, such intelligence, such power, such so many tools at his disposal, but still no character. So therefore, such man is also of not knowledge. So precisely speaking, anybody who displays sense control and good character can be called a person of knowledge. And how do we say this? We say this from the background of scriptures. And now I will propose, or I will present to you, how we have come to this conclusion and what the scriptures are saying. We'll first listen to one person called as Chanakya Pandit. He says, Matravat paradareshu paradravyeshu lostravat atmavat sarva bhuteshu yapashyati sa panditaha. This is the definition of knowledge given by Chanakya Pandit. Matravat paradareshu. Except your own wife, every other person from the opposite gender, this is also valid for females, except your own husband, every other person from the opposite gender. Similarly, especially for men also. Matravat paradareshu, other than my wife, every other woman on this planet is my mother. Whether it is a small child or whether it is an old woman, everybody is my mother. Matravat paradareshu. That is the standard of knowledge. Paradravyeshu lostravat. Others' property or others' possessions needs to be looked at like garbage. Lostravat. Somebody else's car, somebody else's land, somebody else's money is kachra for me. I'm not interested in them. Atmavat sarva bhuteshu. I have to treat everybody the same way I want myself to be treated. That means I have to be very, very sensitive and I have to give importance to everybody. Ya pashyati sabandita. So one who looks at all the women or all the members of the opposite gender as their mother or father, except their wife or husband respectively. Paradravyeshu lostravat. One who is absolutely disinterested in the property of others. Atmavat sarva bhuteshu, who treats others the way he himself wants to be treated. When who acts in this way, he is a pandit. A pandit means a man of knowledge. So this is the definition given by Chanakya. Another definition. Now we will raise the bar a little bit more. This is from a book called as Upadesh Amrit, or Nectar of Instruction, written by Rupa Goswami, one of the direct students of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He says, Vacha Vegam Manasaha Krodha Vegam Jivva Vegam Udarupastha Vegam Etan Vegan Yuvishahet Dhira Sarvam Apimam Prithvim Sashishyat. Vacha Vegam, the urge to speak. Manasaha, mind. Krodh, anger. Jivva, tongue. Udar, stomach. Past, genitals. Vegam. Etan vegan yo vishahet dhira. That means one who has controlled the urge to speak, the demands of the mind, the anger, the tongue, the belly, and the genitals. One who has controlled the urges of these 6 things. The urge to speak, the mind's demands, the anger, the tongue, the belly, and the genitals. The urges of tongue, belly, and genitals. One who has controlled all these 6 things. Sarvam apimam prithvim sishyat. Such a person is qualified to roam all around the planet Earth, Prithvi, and make disciples. So this is another meaning of knowledge. There is a lot of depth in this verse. I will just touch a little bit depth and I will move forward. Vacho vegam. One has to control the urge to speak. That does not mean that one should take Maunvrat. No, that is not recommended. Urge to speak. Everybody speaks so much nonsense. Somebody is speaking something, and those who do not have an avenue to speak, they start writing, and they speak through books. They write volumes and volumes of kachra. But the actual usage of the tongue is to glorify Krishna, glorify his name, form, qualities, and pastimes. That is the best use of the power of speech. Everything belongs to Krishna, and everything has to be used in the service of Krishna. So Vacha Vegam. The only way we can control the urge to speak is by speaking Krishna Katha, or by speaking the Bhagavad Gita, or by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, or speaking about the name, form, qualities, and pastimes of Krishna. I have seen so many people who say that I have taken Maun Vrat, but all the time they'll be writing something, talking to others, chatting. They are in Maun Vrat, but they are doing chat on Gmail and other places, and Facebook and WhatsApp and all. This is not Maun Vrat. We have to understand that we can silence our tongue, but how do we silence our mind? The real Vacho Vegam is the mind control. So that is the next element, Manasaha, the urges of the mind. The urges of the mind can be only controlled by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Krodha Vegam, how to control the anger. Some people say you are a sadhu, you are a saintly person, you should not become angry. But that is not correct. Anger is a spiritual emotion. Even Narsimhadev was angry. And even God becomes angry at miscreants. So what to speak of devotees? So anger cannot be fully nullified. It can only be used in the right place. Just like Hanuman, whole his life he never became angry. But when he went to Lanka, he became so angry. He became so angry when he saw Lord Ram being blasphemed and Mother Sita being mistreated. He became so angry that he burnt the entire Lanka. So basically, how can anger be controlled? Krodha Vegam. If somebody insults me, or if somebody humiliates me, or if somebody talks bad about me, I will tolerate it. Please take note. If somebody insults me, if somebody humiliates me, I will tolerate it. But if somebody speaks something stupid or something bad or something blasphemous about Krishna or about the devotees of Krishna, then I will become like fire and I will pour all my anger on that person. So this is the right usage of anger, and in this way anger becomes controlled. If somebody insults me, humiliates me, or says something to me, I will not become angry. I will tolerate. But if somebody says something stupid or blasphemous about Krishna or the devotees of Krishna, then I will become angry like fire, just like Hanuman became. So in this way, one can control the urge of anger also. Jivva Vegam. The Jivva, the tongue, the belly, and the genitals, they are all in one straight line. So if somebody can control the tongue, the belly and genitals are automatically controlled. And the best way to control Jivva, or the tongue, The tongue is a voracious personality. People travel miles and miles together just to eat something. Simply for the purpose of eating, people are doing so many crimes also. Every time we want to go to a restaurant or we want to go to a hotel, I'll make a statement today. I don't know how many of you will be able to believe it, but from the last 3 years, I've not gone to any restaurant and I've not felt the urge also to go. Now, if I say this outside, people will fall down from their chairs that how is it possible? How have you controlled the tongue like this? The answer is simply if one decides to eat prasad, Krishna prasad and nothing else, then automatically the tongue becomes controlled. And controlling of tongue does not mean that I'm doing austerity. No, I'm eating today. I ate veg pulao and some nice pakora and some raita, and tomorrow I'll eat some puri and all. Everything I'm eating, but I'm eating only Krishna prasad. So in this way, I never go to any places where food is not prepared with a proper consciousness, because the consciousness with which food is prepared also affects us. So I eat only Krishna prasad. In that way, I've controlled my tongue. I can wander all over Bangalore, but I will never enter any place or any restaurant. So in this way, simply by eating Krishna prasad, your tongue becomes controlled. And then because your tongue is controlled, your belly is controlled. And because your tongue and belly are controlled, your mind is controlled. So therefore, the genitals also come in control. So anybody who's displaying a control or the ability to control all these 6 urges, the urge to speak, the urges of the mind, the anger, the tongue, belly, and genitals, this is a symptom of knowledge, or this is knowledge actually. So this is a very, very nice definition of knowledge. Moving on. Some definitions of knowledge in the Bhagavad Gita. Vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane gavihastini shuni chaiva swapake cha panditaha samadarshinaha. The humble sages, by virtue of true knowledge, see with equal vision a learned and a gentle brahmana, a cow, an elephant, a dog eater, and a dog eater. Bhagavad Gita 5.18. So this is equality. Another symptom of knowledge is that they treat everybody equally. Now, what does it mean? If a dog comes to my house, or let's say if a dog comes to my house and let's say a very learned and gentle brahmana comes to my house, so equality, does it mean that I will make them both sit on the dining table and serve them in the same plate and ask them to eat, saying, okay, everybody is equal, you are a highly learned gentle brahmana and you're equal, and you're a dog, you're also equal, so let's eat together in the same plate and I'll treat all of you equal? No. Here, equality is at the vision. Just give me a second. I'll close this window. There's a lot of traffic noise which is coming. Give me a second. Yeah, now it's much better. Sorry for the interruption. So I was explaining equality of vision. Are you able to hear me properly? If you're able to hear me, please raise your hands. Thank you. Hare Krishna. You can lower your hands now. So equality of vision means when I look at a dog and when I look at a highly learned, gentle brahmana, I see, okay, here is a brahmana, born in a very pious family, having nice habits, clean, not having any abominable characteristics. So I see here is a person who has done nice activities, pious activities in their previous lifetimes. So therefore, in this lifetime, they have taken birth in a Brahminical family where beef was not stuffed into their mouth the moment they were born. And therefore, what can I do for this person? I'm looking at the Brahmana, not at the platform of the body, but at the platform of spirit soul. I'm seeing that, okay, this spirit soul, here is a spirit soul having done nice activities, has achieved the body of a Brahmana. And here is another spirit soul who disobeyed the laws of material nature, who disobeyed the laws of Bhagavad Gita, and did some things which are not very good, and therefore ended up getting the body of a dog. So equal vision means here is a spirit soul who is not very well conducted from past lifetimes, has become a dog. Here is a spirit soul, little bit obedient to the laws of nature, has become a human being and a brahmana. So what can I do for both of them so that both of them advance in their journey to go back home, back to Godhead? So the brahmana, I can engage him in discussing the Bhagavad Gita, or I can invite him to give a talk for this Gita course. In this way, I will engage him in Krishna Katha, and therefore he will advance in his journey back home, back to Godhead. However, the dog, I cannot give him the Zoom ID, and I can ask him that you please log in and you come and you sit in the class, chant Hare Krishna. No. If I'm really having an equality of vision towards the dog, then what I will do, I will see, okay, how can the dog progress in Krishna consciousness? Equality of vision means to always think that here is a spirit soul in front of me. What can I do so that they will actually advance in Krishna consciousness? This is equality of vision. So the Brahmana can be engaged in Krishna Katha. In this way, he will advance. The dog can be given some Krishna Prasad. Simply by eating some Krishna Prasad, the dog will advance. And maybe next lifetime, it will become a human being and get a favorable chance to practice Krishna consciousness, attend this Gita course, chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This is called equality of vision. This is another definition of knowledge. So till now, we have had three definitions of knowledge, one by Chanakya, one by Rupa Goswami, and one by Krishna. So you see, these definitions are completely almost completely separate and apart from the common notion of knowledge which we have. Okay. Now, let's see some statements from the Bhagavad Gita. The Bhagavad Gita says, Indriyanam hi charatam yanmano anuvidhiyate tas tada asya harati pragyam vayur navam ivam bhasi. Bhagavad Gita 2.67. It says, as a strong wind, please listen very, very carefully. As a strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water, even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses can carry away a man's intelligence. So I think in the previous sessions, in the session, Why Do I Suffer? We already created or explained the difference between mind and intelligence. Mind says, I want this, let's do this. It just works on likes and dislikes. However, intelligence always judges whether what is being done, is it the right thing to do, and things like that. That is the nature of intelligence. It always checks if I should do this, if I should not do this, and this kind of discussions. It thinks, the logical reasoning aspect belongs to the mind. And the wanting aspect, that I want it at any cost and I don't care what is the result, that is the mind. So here it is saying that just like a strong wind sweeps away a boat on the water, even one of the roaming senses on which the mind focuses. Suppose my mind is focusing. It's the time to sleep, but my eyes are moving here and there, and my ears are trying to hear something, or somewhere my senses are roaming. No, I'm not supposed to eat something, but I'm going somewhere. My tongue is laking me. This is called the roaming of the senses. Meditation on the sense objects is called as roaming of the senses. And if the senses are not controlled, if the mind is not controlling the senses, then even one of the roaming senses on which the mind is focusing or meditating, it can carry away the man's intelligence. Even those people who know that this is a wrong activity, it should not be done, if they allow their mind to focus on one of the senses, then the senses will drag away even a man of intelligence. Now, I have a question for all of you. How many of you feel, but I think it's too early to ask that question. I'll hold on to my question because I have not established a point which I want to make. So keep this point in mind, 2.67, that even if a person knows what is right and what is wrong, if they are not able to control their mind and allowing their mind to focus on some sense object, then that mind can drag away the man's intelligence and fully engage him in sinful activities. So basically, the point which I'm trying to make here by this verse is that even if you have knowledge and intelligence, it may not be sufficient at some times. We read the definitions of knowledge, we have the knowledge, but still, sometimes we are not able to save ourselves from dangerous situations. What happens? The same question Arjuna also asked to Lord Krishna. Arjuna asked, Arjuna uvacha atha kena prayukto yam papam charati purushah anichan api varshneya balad iva niyojitah. Arjuna said, O descendant of Vrishni, what is one impelled? By what is one impelled to do sinful acts, even unwillingly, as if engaged by force? Bhagavad Gita 3.36. See, Arjuna is asking a question on our behalf. As if engaged by force, it means that I know this is not the right thing to do, but still, as if some force is there within me which is forcing me to do. And then the phrase unwillingly is here. That means they know they are not willing to do that, but they are being forced to do this and forced to do sinful activities, basically. So my question to you is that how many of you have also had a similar experience? How many of you have had an experience till now in which you also have felt that you have been impelled to do sinful activities? So I'm launching a poll here, and we have around maybe, can you see the poll? Okay, there's some problem. The poll is, one second, give me a minute. Okay, on your screen, you can see this question. Take around 30 seconds and let me know that how many of you have had this experience, the same experience which Arjuna is having, where he says that, yes, he didn't want to do few things, but he felt that there is some force within which is actually forcing him to do something which is not supposed to be done. Take another 15 seconds. Okay. The vote is very, very clear. Requesting all of you to cast your vote. Do not withhold your vote. There is nothing wrong here in voting. This is a matter of life. We have all had some practical experiences. We are all adults. We know what our mind is, and we know how many times our mind cheats us. So just be honest. This is for the purpose of discussion. There's no judging, no judgment being done here. Okay, I will stop the polling and I will share the results with all of you. So the results are as follows. 86% of you feel, around 86% of you feel that yes, the same experience which Arjuna had 5,000 years ago, I'm also having the same experience. That sometimes I ask myself this question, that I don't want to do something bad, but I always feel that there is something within me which is forcing me to do it. And around 14% of the people, they are extremely, extremely pious. They've probably had no bad experience or no fall down or no sinful activity till now in their life. Absolutely, mind is controlled. Congratulations. If that is the case, then you've already made it. You're ready to go back home, back to Godhead. Because in the spiritual world, nobody has such experiences. Anyways, moving on. So this is the question which Arjuna asks. And the answer to this is given in the Bhagavad Gita, verses 2.62 and 2.63. This is the cycle of fall down. How does a spirit soul or a sincere, innocent person also ends up committing sinful activities? The answer is given here. First, they meditate on sense objects. That means they think about them. They think about that. If something is bad, they start thinking about that bad object. Suppose cigarettes. Cigarette is bad. So then they will think about the cigarette the entire day. And then that will lead to lust. Lust does not necessarily mean the desire to engage with the opposite gender. The desire to enjoy something which is unlawful, or the desire to enjoy something that is bad, or the desire to enjoy something that which is not mine, all these, they fall in the category of lust. So when we meditate on the sense objects, the unlawful desire to get that is lust, arises in our heart. When the lust arises, and when this lust is unfulfilled, then it leads to anger. This is one of the root causes of anger. When this anger comes, or when the anger takes over, then there is a memory loss. Memory loss means we forget what is right, what is wrong, who am I, what is the purpose, why I have come here, what is the purpose of my life. Jivera Swarup Hai Krishna Nitya Das. My purpose is to serve Krishna and become a devotee of Krishna and chant Hare Krishna, be in the association of devotees, read the Bhagavad Gita, eat Krishna Prasad, and go back home, back to God. This is the purpose of my life. One forgets this point. That means memory loss happens. And then intelligence is bewildered. And after that, one is forced to commit sinful activities. This is the force. Now, where do we stop here? We cannot stop at the stage of memory loss. We cannot stop after we have become angry. We can only stop this whole process or this cycle of fall down the moment the meditation on the sense objects starts. The moment we feel that I've started to think and meditate about a sense object which is not proper for me, immediately we should stop, break the chain of thoughts at that point of time. Engage, in chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, or engage in something more meaningful or useful. The best thing to do is to chant Hare Krishna, of course. But if that is also not coming to your mind, at least break the chain of thoughts and come out of it. Because the moment the meditation sets in, after that you cannot do anything. Just like if you're standing on the cliff of a mountain and you want to jump and die. So once you have jumped, after that you cannot make any changes. You cannot save yourself. The end result is that you will fall down, you will die. So similarly, the moment the meditation on sense object kicks in, if we are not stopping the chain of thoughts at that point of time, then after that we are finished. It is just a matter of time, how, when, and where we will fall down. So basically, from the meditation on the sense objects, the lust which comes in, that is the force. The question which Arjuna is asking in the previous slide, which we discussed, that is the force. The lust is the force. The desire to enjoy unlawfully those things which do not belong to us and which are not good for our overall well-being. That lust is the driving force, which is our true enemy. Now, moving on, as far as this mistake of falling down is concerned, even great people make mistakes. Now, I've put the photo of Mahatma Gandhi here. Not just this Mahatma Gandhi, but there were many, many people, illustrious people who made some mistakes. To err is human, as they say. Mahatma Gandhi was told that, please don't go to such and such meeting. We have confirmed news that you are going to be assassinated, you're going to be killed, murdered on this day if you go there. But Mahatma Gandhi ignored everything. He said, no. My country people will not kill me. They had pakka news, but he ignored. He did not take the intelligent advice which was coming. He basically overruled the intelligence of others and allowed his own intelligence to prevail, whatever you call. And therefore, he made a mistake, and for which he paid a price. Similarly, Ravan, he had kidnapped Mother Sita. So many times Vibhishan was giving advice. Please return Mother Sita. Please return Mother Sita. But he was not listening. So even great people, Ravan was supposed to be a man of knowledge. At least in terms of data, he had a lot of knowledge. But like I said, no sense control, no character. So in that way, if you see, he had no knowledge. However, in terms of data, in terms of degree, in terms of accomplishments, in terms of siddhis, in terms of conquests, he was a great personality. But he also made a mistake. So like with that, we see the whole history is filled up with examples where so many people have made so many mistakes. Now let's try to understand who is Arjuna, because the Bhagavad Gita is about Arjuna and Krishna. I described the definition of knowledge, and we see that Arjuna had all good qualities and all the characteristics of a man of knowledge. He had self-control. When he went to the higher planetary systems to attain the Divyastra, or the heavenly weapons, so that he could engage in the Mahabharata war, at that time a heavenly damsel called Urvashi, she approached her. Now we cannot even begin to imagine the beauty of Urvashi. People of earth have no idea what is the kind of beauty which the higher planetary systems have. Even a reflection of the beauty of Urvashi is not to be found on planet Earth. That is the situation. So this person from Earth, Arjuna, was approached by Urvashi. Don't imagine also what Arjuna would have gone through. But he was a man of self-control. He denied. Urvashi approached him for a union, but he said, no, I will not engage with you. That is the caliber of Arjuna. He was always respecting his elders. He was such a qualified person, such a highly talented prince. Sometimes he would disagree with his elder brother. He could have easily told that, okay, you people just do what you want. I will go single-handedly defeat the entire Kaurav army and then take over the kingdom and give the kingdom to you. But he didn't do all this. He always followed the advice and the directions of his elder brother. And of course, this shows that his character was very good. He always followed the principles of respect, mutual cooperation in the family. And of course, all of us know Arjuna's focus as far as shooting the arrow was concerned in the Draupadi Swayamvar. So basically, he was knowledgeable, well-cultured, and an expert. But even a man of such knowledge, such culture, such expertise needed advice, needed external help. When I was showing you this slide, when somebody comes in this cycle, especially when the meditation on sense objects start, they cannot save themselves after this. Only a person from outside or only an external help can intervene and can actually reclaim them. By themselves, they cannot save, especially the meditation on sense object if it has started. One needs external help. Similarly, Arjuna, who was such a knowledgeable, well-cultured and expert man, he felt the need of external help. So the point which I'm trying to prove here is that knowledge and intelligence is good, but it is of little help when we are in trouble. It requires external help. If Arjuna also needs external help, then what to speak of us? But generally with this expertise, knowledge and good culture comes some attitude also. Needless to say, no matter how much qualified, cultured and expert we are, we will get into trouble. That is for sure. But along with this knowledge and expertise comes little attitude. The question is, or the point here is that even Arjuna needed help. So this is for sure that we'll also get into trouble and we'll also need help. But the question is, do we have the right attitude and maturity to seek for help? That is the question. Many people, because of immaturity and improper attitude, they feel that I have to be perfect. I have to always be perfect. I have to be never wrong in front of others. I cannot ask help from others. What will other people think? And because of these reasons, they are never able to ask for help. And therefore, they are trapped in the cycle of fall downs and sinful activities. The question is, do we have the right attitude and do we have the right maturity to ask for help? Many people who are arrogant and foolish, they actually are not able to ask for help just because of this ego or just because of improper attitude or lack of maturity. So this is the question. Am I ready to accept help from someone? The Bhagavad Gita. In the Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna, at least he was ready. He prayed in front of Krishna. He said, Karpanya doshapahat swabhava prichhami tvam dharma samudha chetaha yat shan shan nishchitam bruhitam me shishyaste ham sadimam tvam prapannam. Bhagavad Gita 2.7. Some letters are in bold. You can please take note of that. Arjuna says, now I am confused about my duty and have lost all composure because of miserly weakness. In this condition, I am asking you to tell me for certain what is best for me. Now I am your disciple, a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. So the points which Arjuna says, I am confused. I am asking you for help. Please tell me what is best for me. Please instruct me. These are the points which Arjuna is using. Now we just understood who is Arjuna. He is not at all an ordinary personality. Going further into the discussion, before we go further, let me put a point to all of us, all of you, and even to me and everybody in this discussion. If someone helps me, if someone corrects me for my own good, then who is the beneficiary? I repeat, if someone helps me, if someone corrects me for my own good, then who is the beneficiary? Please raise your hands if you feel that I am the beneficiary if someone corrects me and if someone helps me. That means if someone corrects me or someone helps me, then it is actually for my own good. Please raise your hand if you feel that if someone corrects you, if someone helps you, it is for your own good. Thank you very much. Keeping this point in mind, always remember that if somebody is correcting you, you can lower your hands now. If somebody is correcting you, then it is for your own good. It is for our own good, for our own benefit. Keeping this point in mind, we have come to the understanding that Arjuna allowed Krishna to help. Therefore, as I said, the idea that I will always be correct and I will always be perfect, this idea breaks us from within. This idea that I'm always perfect, always correct, I can never be wrong, it does not allow us to take help from others, even though we are suffering and starving from within. So basically, we have to develop a desire to be helped. For that, I have to admit few points that yes, I can go wrong. If someone corrects me, then I am the beneficiary. And if I can go wrong, then I should also allow others to correct me. So basically, we have to allow someone to help. We have to give such a privilege to someone in our life, at least one person in our life who can call us up at any moment and blast us that what have you done? This is not good. And we should be respectful to that person and allow them to express their feedback. And then we should take that feedback seriously and work upon it. That means we should give such a liberty or a privilege to at least one person in our life, so that he or she has a privilege to correct us. And in that way, we will get corrected and benefited in that kind of an association. We have to give some such kind of a privilege to somebody, at least in our life. We cannot create a barrier around us saying that, okay, I'm perfect, I don't need any help, I'm not wrong, I can never be wrong. How dare you give me this feedback? Who are you? Mind your own business. This is the attitude why all of us are struggling in life. And we don't blame the so-called leaders of our society, the so-called people whom we follow. They are all exhibiting this kind of a nature where they say that I'm all right, mind your own business, how dare you correct me? I'm the daughter of India, I'm the son of India. And this kind of arrogant statements they will make. I'm always right, you are wrong. I'm correct, you are wrong. I'm always perfect, you cannot correct me. This kind of attitude puts people into severe dangers, where they are playing with life and death, basically. So if Arjuna needs corrections, we also need corrections. If a personality like Arjuna felt that he needs external help. Definitely we, being far less qualified than Arjuna, we also need some help. And what is wrong in taking help? Nothing is wrong. If somebody helps me, if somebody corrects me, if somebody guides me, then who is the beneficiary? I am the beneficiary. So keeping these points in mind, we will move ahead. Please remember that the idea that I am perfect and I'm always right, this idea breaks us. It spiritually starves us from within and does not allow us to improve under the guidance of others. In the Bhagavad Gita, the Krishna says, Kim karma kim akarmeti kavayo apya atra mohitaha tatte karma pravakshami yajgyatva mokshya shubhat. Even the intelligent are bewildered in determining what is action and what is inaction. Intelligence comes by reading the scriptures. But even the intelligent people who have read the scriptures, who have the knowledge, who have the understanding, who have the sense control, and who have the good character, even they are bewildered sometimes to understand what is action, what is inaction. But Krishna says, now I shall explain to you what action is, knowing which you shall be liberated from all your misfortune. You must have studied, or we have studied together in the previous session, what is karma, good karma, bad karma, akarma. But Krishna says even intelligent people are sometimes confused in determining this. So therefore, after this, Krishna gives an amazing advice to Arjuna. Are you all ready for this advice, which is basically going to solve almost all your problems in life? If you're ready, please raise your hands. Thank you very much. That amazing advice of Krishna, which basically changes the whole course, fate and face of the discussion of Bhagavad Gita, is as follows. Bhagavad Gita 4.34 Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevayah updekshanti te jnanam jnaninas darshinaha. Krishna says, just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. So this is the process of knowledge. If somebody asks you how to gain knowledge, this is the answer. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively. Even Krishna, who is the supreme spiritual master of everybody, when he appears on this planet, he also goes and accepts a spiritual master. Even God goes and accepts a guru. But we sometimes feel that we don't need a guru. We don't need a guide. I'm self-sufficient. I don't need any advice. That's the problem. And how to get knowledge? You cannot just pick up a Bhagavad Gita from some bookstall at the railway station and go to your house, sit on the sofa, read for 3 minutes and become self-realized. No, that's never going to happen. First of all, you have to pick up the right Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavad Gita as it is, the Bhagavad Gita Yatharup, authored by Srila Prabhupada, which brings in the parampara system of understanding of Bhagavad Gita, the way Arjuna understood. That Bhagavad Gita you have to read. And even if you take it and try to read it all by your own and try to understand, that's not possible. First, we have to approach a spiritual master. We have to approach a guide. We have to approach a mentor. We have to approach a teacher. And then what do we have to do? We have to inquire from him submissively, not in a challenging spirit. That I challenge you that you prove me wrong. No, that is not the process of knowledge. We have to inquire from him submissively and render service to him. We have to assist him, help him in his projects, whatever he wants to do. And then when the spiritual master starts feeling that this boy or this girl has gone out of her way or out of his way to help me in my project and has served me, has surrendered unto me, and submissively asked questions to me, I'm very happy with this boy. When the spiritual master starts thinking like this, then the spiritual knowledge flows, or the mercy flows from his heart to the heart of the student. That is the heart-to-heart transfer of spiritual science. Please take note, spiritual knowledge is not a chalk and talk method where someone can stand in a classroom and write some Brahma Sutras or formulas and everybody will copy that, recite it and become spiritual, self-realized. No. advancement in spiritual life or advancement in Krishna consciousness simply depends on the mercy of our seniors or our guru, basically. How much we have pleased him by serving him, by asking questions in a submissive way, by surrendering to him. This last line of this verse, Krishna says, the self-realized souls can impart knowledge unto you because they have seen the truth. They are tattva darshinaha. Because they have seen the truth, so they can give you that knowledge. So this is the process of knowledge. However, many people don't know. Just like electricity always passes from higher potential to lower potential. If we are in front of a teacher or if we are in front of a guru, if we are not acting humble, if we are not voluntarily putting ourselves in a lower position, then the spiritual knowledge will not flow. Now, if we are arrogant in front of a teacher or a mentor or a superior, then they will feel, oh, he doesn't need my help. Now, the knowledge doesn't flow like this. The knowledge flows like this. So whenever we go in front of a teacher or a guru, we should voluntarily place ourselves in front of them in a lower position, a humbler position. Actually speaking, like we read, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne, a person who actually has knowledge is always humble. So my question to you is, Arjuna asked this question, how to resolve, and then Krishna told him the answer, that just approach a spiritual master. So Arjuna felt the need of a spiritual master. Even Krishna accepted a spiritual master. What do you think? Do you feel that you need a spiritual master? This question is shortly, I think, some problem in my internet. I've launched this poll. Okay, some problem. I'll try to relaunch it. Somehow it keeps failing. Anyways, I'll just ask this question. Let's see if it comes on your screens. If a person like Arjuna needed a spiritual master, guide, mentor, master, advice, so how many of you think that you also need it? If you feel that yes, you need it, please raise your hands. Thank you very much. So that is the right understanding, which we are trying to understand here. Now that we have discussed these many points, what is knowledge, and that we should have the right attitude to accept guidance. And if somebody helps us, guides us, we are the beneficiary. And what is the process of knowledge, approaching a spiritual master? Now that we have understood this much, let's go into the various kinds of gurus. So we have various kinds of gurus. First kind of guru is the free advice guru. They are basically not actually interested in our well-being. Neither they have any qualification to advise us. They have no idea about the problem which we are dealing with. They just want to show that they know some things, and they do everything as a matter of sense gratification or self-gratification. So basically, our callous colleagues who are actually not concerned about our well-being, or the thelawalas or the hawkers or the passers-by. When we go to a grocery shop, even that person starts advising us. So these are the free advice gurus. Please take note, these free advice gurus will always give you nice free advice, but they will never come and check back whether were you actually helped by that advice or not. So that is the nature of these free advice gurus. And then there is exploiting gurus. I put the photo of a stethoscope and the photo of a hammer from the coat to signify that there are two kinds of gurus whom we have, the doctors and the lawyers. Basically, they are very exploitative. Actually, the Vedic injunction says that education, medicine, and justice should be given free of cost. But these exact things, education, medicine, and justice, have become the costliest affair in Kali Yuga. Especially these lawyers, if you engage them in some kind of a discussion in the court, then lawyers of both parties will discuss with each other that, okay, we want to get our remuneration for the next 5 years. So I will give this argument and you give this argument so that the case gets postponed. And in this way, we'll stall the case for the next 10 years and earn a lot of money. Similarly, the doctors, they have targets. Just like many of the IT professionals may have some targets, what to do, how to do, and come up with these many results. So these doctors, they also have targets. Basically, okay, you have to do these many surgeries this month. So even if a person doesn't need these surgeries or this kind of a treatment, they end up being treated by such doctors just for the purpose of some numbers. And needless to say that there are so many bogus spiritual organizations. I've just listed down some of the points. There are some spiritual organizations which say Sambhog se Samadhi. Have so much sex that you will attain liberation. Just imagine. There is no mention of such kind of idea in the scriptures, completely against the principles of knowledge, but they are portraying this and they are propagating this. Another guru says, pseudo guru on the YouTube, he says, give me ash, give me cash, I'll give you ash. Do whatever you want, eat whatever you want, drink whatever you want, behave whatever you want, live an immoral life. Just come monthly, give me 20% of your salary, take this mantra, chant, and do whatever you want. Such pseudo gurus, they say that I don't need to read the scriptures. I have understood the whole universe, they will say. Not even a single line they will speak from Bhagavad Gita. They have themselves never served any guru. They have never followed the Bhagavad Gita 4.34, the principle of knowledge given by Krishna. Sometimes they even discourage people from asking questions, saying, how can you ask such questions? Get lost from here. Actually, I've met few people. They asked few questions and they were thrown out of the seminar. So this is going on in the society these days. This is going on everywhere, not just in our society. My question to all of you is, how many of you are actually fed up with such exploiting gurus, basically the free advice gurus or this exploiting gurus, and you are actually very badly looking for a real guru? Those who are actually looking for a real guru and are fed up of exploiting gurus and free advice gurus, please raise your hands. Thank you very much. You can lower your hands. Some participants, they are not raising their hands. I will request them to participate in this discussion. Otherwise, it becomes a little impersonal. Your participation gives me a good signal and motivates me to speak from my heart. So don't just sit back when we ask a question. It just takes a raise of hand, a click. Please do that. Okay, it promotes a mutual discussion environment. Okay, so now that you are looking for a real guru, let's see the definition of a real guru. A real guru is our well-wisher. He is compassionate, he is not exploitative, and he is selfless. These are the four qualities of a guru. Number one, he is a well-wisher. Number two, he is compassionate. Number three, he is not exploitative. And number four, he is selfless. Now let's see what the scriptures have to say. This is from the third canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 25, shloka 21. Titikshava karunakaha suhrida sarvadehinam ajat shatrava shantah sadhava sadhu bhushanaha. The symptoms of a sadhu are that he is tolerant, merciful, and friendly to all living entities. He has no enemies. He is peaceful. He abides by the scriptures, and all his characteristics are sublime. So basically, a guru or a sadhu is tolerant, merciful, and friendly to all living entities, not just human beings. A guru is merciful to the small ant also. One who loves Krishna will love the small ant also. And he has no enemies. Now, how is it possible that someone will have no enemies? Actually, here it means that he may or may not have enemies, but he never considers anybody as his enemy. Ajat Shatrava. That means He may have many people who wish ill for him or wish bad for him, but he himself never considers anybody or looks at anybody as his enemy. He does not have that duality. He looks at everybody on the equal soul platform. He is peaceful. He abides by the scriptures. Most important. There are so many pseudo gurus on YouTube right now who say that I do not need to read the scriptures. I have never read the Bhagavad Gita. But the Bhagavatam or the Shastra says that a person who is not abiding by the scriptures, a person who is not expert in the scriptures, cannot become a guru or is not a sadhu. So he is abiding by the scriptures and all his characteristics are sublime. So these are the characteristics of a real guru. This is a little bit advanced definition of a guru. It is again from Nectar of Instruction or Upadeshamrit. It says one should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of Lord Krishna. One should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation or diksha and is engaged in worshipping the deity. And one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. Just see the I have put in bold. One should associate with and faithfully serve. Who is a real guru and what is our duty towards him? The characteristics of a real guru is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. What we should do? We should associate and faithfully serve such a pure devotee. These are the definitions of guru. And then Krishna says something very, very important. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu sakale neha mahata yogo nashtah param tapaha. Bhagavad Gita 4.2. This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in course of time, the succession was broken. And therefore, the science as it is appears to be lost. That's the point here. So this Bhagavad Gita comes in a chain of disciplic succession. There are so many people who have written their own versions of Bhagavad Gita. This Gita, that Gita, living Gita, my Gita, his Gita, her Gita. So many kinds, 490 plus were versions of Bhagavad Gita are there in the market. But what Krishna is focusing on, he says, Evam parampara praptam. This supreme science was received through the chain of disciplic succession. That means this Bhagavad Gita can only be understood when it comes as it is in the Guru Shishya Parampara. The Guru gives it to his disciple. This disciple then later on becomes a Guru and then gives it to his disciple. That disciple later on becomes a Guru and gives it to his disciple. And while this Guru Shishya Parampara is passing down this knowledge, there is no mirch masala or there is no personal interpretation or there is no adulteration of this knowledge. That is called Parampara knowledge. That is why the Bhagavad Gita written by Srila Prabhupada in ISKCON is called as Bhagavad Gita as it is. Because these Parampara explanations has been preserved from thousands of years. Why so many personal varieties of Bhagavad Gitas are coming? Because every Tom, Dick and Harry feels that according to me, in my opinion, I feel, let me think, this verse of Gita means this. They do not see what is the Parampara. They do not want to know the Bhagavad Gita in the way Arjuna understood it from Krishna. They are not interested in that. What Krishna told is immaterial. What Arjuna said is understood is also immaterial. My version of Bhagavad Gita is this. You please take note of it. So that is not Parampara understanding. And Krishna is so particular about this Parampara. He says that this is always received through the chain of disciplic succession and the saintly kings understood it in that way. Please take note, this Bhagavad Gita is not meant for just monks. It was meant for Raja Rishis, the rulers of the planet, the kings, the royal order used to study this Bhagavad Gita and practice this Bhagavad Gita and rule the kingdom accordingly. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarshayo viduhu. Now this parampara, this chain of disciplic succession is so important that due to passage of time, when there is some adulteration in this parampara, when the parampara is lost basically, The Guru did not give it to Shishya and the Shishya gave it to his Shishya, but then the next Shishya did not give it to his disciples. Somehow he died, or somehow he got engaged in elsewhere, or due to some reason the chain of disciplic succession, when it gets broken, Krishna himself comes and re-establishes that chain. So that is how important is this parampara system. But there are some idiots who feel that I can write my own Gita. There are some idiots who feel that any Gita we study, it is the same. No. Evam parampara praptam. So that is the important of the parampara system. That is the importance of the spiritual knowledge parampara. So it is extremely, extremely important. My question to all of you is, do you agree? It is there on your screen. Do you agree that the chain of disciplic succession or the parampara is important? If your answer is yes, please make your vote. If your answer is no, feel free to make your vote. But please, everybody should vote. Take another 10 seconds. Thank you very much. We are ending this polling. And I will share the results. Absolute 100% people feel that Bhagavad Gita should be studied in parampara and not by our own whims and fancies. There are so many people who are passing by as scholars and who are telling that I am a guru and you study this Bhagavad Gita. They don't care the way Arjuna understood it, or they are basically murdering Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Krishna says in the fourth chapter, in the fourth chapter of Bhagavad Gita, he says, Sa evayam maya tedya yoga prokta puratana bhakto sime sakha cheti rahasyam hi etad uttamam. The qualification to understand the Bhagavad Gita is that one needs to be a devotee of Krishna. Bhakto sime sakha cheti. And one has to be non-envious of Krishna. That means one has to accept that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And one has to be a devotee of Krishna. Bhakto sime sakha cheti rahasyam hi etad uttamam. Now, there are so many people who do not accept Krishna as the Supreme Personality of God, who are not devotees of Krishna, but just see their audacity. They are writing commentaries on Bhagavad Gita. Outright in open daylight, they are violating the basic principles what Krishna is saying. Only my devotee can, bhaktya mama vijanati, only my devotee can understand me. Bhakto si me sakha cheti, only somebody who is non-envious of me, only somebody who is my devotee can understand the Bhagavad Gita. But these people, they are openly violating, and they are saying Krishna was not Bhagwan, but he is a great personality, and you need not be a devotee of Krishna. You just need to be a scholar, read my Bhagavad Gita, and then sit on an armchair with a bottle of wine or a whiskey in your hand and speculate. Become an armchair speculator. This is going on in the society these days. But all of you are very intelligent. You agree, 100% of you agree that parampara is very important. So now we have discussed so much about knowledge. We understood that all of us need help. We need guidance. We understood who there are so many exploiting fake, pseudo, and free advice gurus. We saw the definition of a real guru. And then we saw the definition of the parampara system and the importance of parampara system. Now, please keep these aspects in your mind. And I'm now going to introduce to you my spiritual grandfather, the founder Acharya of ISKCON, Srila Prabhupada. His full name is A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. We told you the description of a sadhu. Now, please listen very carefully for the next 5 to 10 minutes and understand that here is a real sadhu. What did Srila Prabhupada do? He introduced the culture, the Vedic culture of India to the whole world. His spiritual master had ordered Srila Prabhupada that you go to the West and preach the science of Krishna consciousness, preach the message of Bhagavad Gita. He spent a lifetime in preparation for that. And then when he was around 70 years old, please take note, people retire when they are 55 or 60 and they want to live a comfortable life after that. Srila Prabhupada was in Vrindavan. He had already attained his spiritual perfection and emancipation. But still at the age of 70, simply because his spiritual master had ordered him. So Srila Prabhupada boarded a cargo ship, traveled in that ship for 30 days, suffering 2 heart attacks because of seasickness. At the age of 70, getting a heart attack and being without medical attention on a ship which is surrounded by water and water and water for the next 30 days, you cannot even imagine that. This saintly, transcendental, elderly gentleman took all these pains and suffering because he wanted to fulfill the order of his spiritual master. That was to go and preach the science of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam in the West, in the language English. And in this way, in the 1966, when there was this counter culture coming, there was a hippie culture which was coming in the West, and people were saying that anybody who is above the age of 30, don't trust them, don't talk to them, don't listen to them, don't obey them. This was the culture, the counterculture. People or sons and daughters of rich people, billionaires, millionaires, they would run away from the houses of their fathers, go on the streets, live naked, have unlimited sexual intercourse like cats and dogs, take drugs, take wine, take intoxicants, live on the streets. That was the culture at that point. And Srila Prabhupada walked in the middle of it. He just landed there. And when he landed there on the Boston Harbor, it is written in his biography that he had only 40 rupees. Those 40 rupees were the expenditure of few hours. He says that in 2 hours, I could have finished 40 rupees. And generally, when we go to some place, we already call up someone, I'm coming, you please make gajar ka halwa for me very nicely. I'll come, we'll meet, we'll go to this place. That Prabhupada did not know even one single person. When he landed in Boston at the age of 70, after having suffering 2 heart attacks, it is said that when he came, it is the first time. Generally, when we also have faced this problem sometimes when we say our parents that, okay, I'm living in such and such place, you come. The parents will say, I have lived all my life in the village, or I have lived all my life in this town. I will not leave. In my old age, I don't want to leave this. I cannot adjust to the exact, completely new environment where you're calling. We all have heard this. But this saintly, transcendental, elderly gentleman from Vrindavan gave up everything which he knew and was ready to adjust to a foreign climate just to fulfill the instructions of his spiritual master. When he landed there in the Boston Harbor, he said that I didn't know whether to go left or whether to go right. That was the situation. So he struggled for 1 year. He didn't know anybody. He just had when he was landing on the Boston Harbor, he didn't have any money. So he had translated the first and second canto of Bhagavatam in English. So he caught the captain of the ship and he said, I don't have any money. Can you please purchase one set of Bhagavatam and give me some money so that I can survive here? Somehow that captain was a pious person. He said, yes, Swamiji, I will take it. And he took that Bhagavatam set, first and second canto, and gave some money. And with that 40 rupees, he landed. With few dollars, he landed on the Boston Harbor. And then the struggle continues. It's a glorious story where so many times thieves got into his apartment and drug addicts. He was sharing an apartment with a drug addict. That person used to go crazy. He was writing the manuscript of the Bhagavad Gita. The typewriter was stolen. The manuscript was stolen. So in this way, he struggled for 1 year. Then one day he went and sat in a park and he started chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, just like we do Kirtan in the beginning of our session. And by the power of his pure transcendental vibration of the Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, all the American boys and girls, these young boys and girls who were telling that don't trust anybody above 30, they were attracted to this elderly gentleman. And then they started coming to him. He started holding some classes. He had a old, very heavy Bengali accent. That too, he was an old man coughing. He was not exactly speaking a very charismatic speaker, but still, because of the purity which he carried in his heart, because of the genuine desire to please his guru or spiritual master which he was carrying in his heart, because the perfect Acharya example by personal behavior which he was, and because he was carrying Krishna in his heart, he became all attractive to everybody. And what happened after that? People, or these young boys and girls, they gave their life to Prabhupada. This old person, this old man, this our Srila Prabhupada, he didn't give any salary to anybody. But still, people from all over the world, they came and they surrendered to him. I've just put one photo here where you can see children of people from various ethnicities, they are coming and surrendering to him. Once when he was in London, so some arrogant press reporter asked Prabhupada that, why have you come here? So Prabhupada answered, when the Britishers were there in India for 200 years, they looted almost everything which is possible, but they forgot the most valuable thing. That is the science of Bhagavad Gita and the knowledge of Srimad Bhagavatam. I have come here to give you that. Once in Australia, Prabhupada was asked by an arrogant reporter, why have you come here? So Prabhupada answered that I have come here to teach you that which you have forgotten. I have come here to teach you how to love God. And in this way, Srila Prabhupada introduced India to the whole world. Now, anywhere you go, whether you go in Pakistan or whether you go in New Zealand or whether you go in Dubai or whether you go in Australia or whether you go in Germany, whether you go in USA or whether you go to Netherlands or whether you go to Antarctica, everywhere you will find people chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Just like Bhagirathi brought Ganga from the heavenly planetary systems on the earth, similarly, Srila Prabhupada spread the Bhakti Ganga all over the planet. It is unimaginable. You go to a remote part of the world and you find deities of Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, Krishna and Balram and Srimati Radharani in those places. And people are dancing to the chanting of Hare Krishna. I have spent some time abroad and I can tell you from my personal example, I have seen a person, abominable habits, abominable characteristics, probably a thief, and almost had done many attempts to murders. All bad habits were there in that person. Somehow he met a devotee, and that devotee gave him a book of Srila Prabhupada. And somehow he started chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. In front of my eyes, I have seen this half murderer, this thief, this druggist, this abominable personality in 6 months, simply by chanting Hare Krishna, became a perfect Vaishnava. Simply by chanting Hare Krishna and simply by reading the books of Srila Prabhupada, especially the Bhagavad Gita, and eating Krishna Prasad. This person didn't know the meaning of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but just see how scientific is the effect of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Just like when you take a medicine, whether you know or not what that medicine is meant for, it works. Similarly, whether you know the meaning of Hare Krishna Mahamantra or not, it is scientific, it works. And I have seen many such hippies becoming happies simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And you see young people, highly talented, educated, all these people, they became affected by the magnanimity of Prabhupada. He initiated them and they were working for him day and night. And in this way, Srila Prabhupada was compassion personified. He started giving initiations in the West. And his spiritual master told him that whenever you have money, print books. So he spent his entire life writing books, even until his last breath. This is the photo of Srila Prabhupada while he's quitting his body. But even at that time, you see a dictaphone in front of him, where one person is telling him the shlokas of Srimad Bhagavatam. And even when he's dying, at that time, he is simply translating the Srimad Bhagavatam. So that we, spiritually dull-minded people, who do not understand Sanskrit can access the great fortune which is locked in the language of Sanskrit in the books like Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, and other such transcendental Vedic literature. He spent nights and nights not sleeping simply to give us some books so that we can read and we can become convinced that we should chant Hare Krishna and go back home, back to Godhead in this very lifetime. So in brief, if we have to summarize, what are the contributions of Srila Prabhupada? He wrote more than 87 volumes of books. In 12 years, he traveled 14 times around the world. He established 108 temples, gurukuls, farm communities. He initiated more than 5,000 disciples from all over the world, including Russia, which was the Iron Curtain in those days. And he did everything between the age 70 to 82. He used to sleep only 2 hours a day. And he used to spend all his time writing books, handling an international movement. Like it's not a joke. 108 temples, farm communities. This is just a brief contribution of Srila Prabhupada. The more you read about him, the more you will understand that here is a genuine, pure devotee of Krishna, a sadhu. So he is our Srila Prabhupada. He is my Srila Prabhupada. And I took this opportunity to spend so much time to introduce you to him so that you can go home and do your research. I request all of you present here with folded hands, after this session, go and read about Srila Prabhupada. Go and read whatever you can, especially if you really want to read about how Srila Prabhupada has done all this. It is a miracle. If somebody told you the story, you wouldn't believe it, but it has happened. He went with 40 rupees, and when he came back, he still had 40 rupees. Have you ever heard any story where someone started from 40 rupees and in 12 years became or created an empire of billions of dollars? And that too, at the end of the day, he didn't own anything. He said, everything belongs to my disciples, everything belongs to Krishna. It is unparalleled, even unimaginable to see or understand or feel or even conceive that such personalities have been in this selfish world. And the work which Srila Prabhupada has done is unimaginable. Till now, at that time, there were 108 temples. Now there are more than 800 centers of ISKCON all around the world. It is still spreading. The prophecy is that Prithvi jata ache nagar adi gram sarvatra prachar hoibe amar naam. As many towns and villages are there in this planet. In every town and every village, the name of Krishna, the name of Lord Chaitanya will be sung. And who laid the foundation of this prophecy? Who did the basic work, foundation work, so that this prophecy will come true? Srila Prabhupada. He was the Senapati Bhakta of Krishna. He was a transcendental personality. Even Srila Prabhupada has been predicted in the Shastra, in the Srimad Bhagavatam and the other Puranas. They talk about Prabhupada also. Not directly, but there is mentionings. So this great personality has walked amongst us. Unfortunately, none of us, mostly all of us, were not there physically present to associate with him. But still we have a chance. If we simply chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, and if we read the books written by Srila Prabhupada, that is the way in which we can associate with him. So I request all of you to take note of the life and activities of Srila Prabhupada. And please appreciate that here is a real sadhu, a genuine sadhu, an actual sadhu, a pure devotee of Krishna, whom we should follow. So with this, I would like to end today's discussion by giving you the practical tip of the day. Basically, I want to talk about the mood of reading Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita, we have to read. We get so much information from so many places. You go to Google and you type something and it will tell you everything. But will you start worshipping Google? Just like we get our information from Google, we should not approach Bhagavad Gita in the same casual way. There are some things which even Google can't answer, but Bhagavad Gita can. Bhagavad Gita is the manual of life. It tells you what to do, how much to do. And most importantly, it is the only book which tells you the purpose of life, how to control your mind, who is God, and what is the relationship between you and God. There are so many books which talk about God, but there is only one book in which God talks himself. That is Bhagavad Gita. So we have to worship this Bhagavad Gita, and the best way to worship the Bhagavad Gita is to worship it through our intelligence and not just by agarbatti. That means we have to read this book. We should not just keep the Bhagavad Gita, tie it in a red cloth and hang it in our puja room. No, we have to actually read this Bhagavad Gita. We have to worship the Bhagavad Gita through our intelligence. We have to respect Krishna, accept Krishna. Krishna says, Bhakto si me sakha cheti rahasyam hi etaduttamam. Only my devotee can understand me. So first we have to become a devotee of Krishna. Simple. Be in the association of devotees, read the Bhagavad Gita as it is, not any Bhagavad Gita. Chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and eat Krishna Prasad. If you do these four things, then automatically you'll become a devotee of Krishna. So become a devotee of Krishna. Don't be envious of Krishna. Read the Bhagavad Gita and don't just read, but hear from Srimad Bhagavad Gita. This is very important. This is a divine transcendental conversation which is happening. And by the power of the parampara knowledge, the spiritual chain of disciplic successions, that very same conversation we are able to access now. And the Bhagavad Gita as it is, which is here, it is not an ordinary Bhagavad Gita. Krishna told Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna in 45 minutes, and Arjuna understood it also in 45 minutes. But can we understand the Bhagavad Gita in 45 minutes? This is my question to you. I think the answer is no. We cannot even read the Bhagavad Gita in 45 minutes. There are 700 verses. So our Srila Prabhupada, my Srila Prabhupada, has translated or given us the parampara translations. He takes the verse, he gives the word by word translation, then he gives the actual translation, then he gives the purport. That purport is full of practical tips of how to apply this verse in my daily life. I read Evam Paramparat Praptam Imam Rajarshayo Vidhu, but how is it actually related to me? Srila Prabhupada explains this in his purports. That is the importance of this Bhagavad Gita. It is not just a book, it is the parampara knowledge of Guru Shishyas. Many spiritual masters have passed it on to their disciples, and that as it is intact, without any personal interpretation, knowledge is being presented to you in the form of Bhagavad Gita as it is. Before this Bhagavad Gita as it is was written by Srila Prabhupada, there were so many versions of English Bhagavad Gitas floating all around the world, especially in the Western world. But not even a single person became a devotee after reading this Bhagavad Gita. However, when Srila Prabhupada wrote this Bhagavad Gita, the world accepted it. The universities accepted it. All the scholars accepted it. And people became devotees. This is parampara knowledge. So with this, I would like to request all of you to read the Bhagavad Gita every day. And I would like to know from all of you that how many of you are actually willing to read the Bhagavad Gita daily. If you are willing to do that, please raise your hands. If not daily, at least regularly. And here is the poll for all of you. Will you read the Bhagavad Gita regularly? Somehow everybody answers the poll. So therefore, we have tried to create. So thank you. I will end this discussion now because there's no point asking further because this is a one-sided poll. The result is that all of you, 100% of you will try to read it regularly. Thank you very much. And with this, we end today's discussion with the point which we would like to highlight in every session, that whatever result the Yuga Dharma, I think this Yuga Dharma concept was explained in the previous sessions. The Yuga Dharma of Kali Yuga is to chant Hare Krishna. Whatever result was obtained in Satyuga by meditating on Vishnu, in Treta Yuga by performing sacrifices, and in Dwapar Yuga by serving the Lord's lotus feet, can be obtained in Kali Yuga simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And then the Kali Santaran Upanishad says that this Hare Krishna Mahamantra destroys all the evil effects of Kali Yuga. And in all the Vedas, it is seen that to cross this ocean of birth and death, or that to cross this ocean of nescience, there is no alternative other than to chanting the holy name of the Lord. So in Kali Yuga, meditation will not work. In Kali Yuga, yagyas will not work. In Kali Yuga, temple construction and Arch Vigraha Upasana is also not very effective. The only thing which was actually helping people is the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So I invite all of you to regularly chant this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But before that, I have an announcement to make. We have still some people here. Thank you for being there. But here is our next engagement. We want to offer you some meaningful happiness. So we have planned a next engagement for all of you. Every Thursday, only for 1 hour, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., we want to revisit you. We want to meet all of you because many of you messaged us and told us that Saturday to Saturday is a long time. After hearing the sessions on Saturdays, we remain motivated for a few days, but then it just lingers away. So we need more association. So we respected that suggestion, and we have come up with the next engagements on Thursdays. Every Thursday, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. We'll all get together and we will recite one chapter of Bhagavad Gita. It has tremendous benefits. Only those who will do this will understand that. And after chanting the Bhagavad Gita, one chapter, we will chant one round of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. If all of you are excited, then we can chant a little bit more also. But basically one round minimum of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra japa. And then, since in these sessions, the time is little less and the content to discuss is sometimes a little more like it was today, we are not able to take questions and answers in a very detailed way. And we see that most of the times, many of the questions remain unanswered. So after this 15 to 20-minute activity of Bhagavad Gita recitation and chanting one round Hare Krishna Mahamantra, next 40 minutes, we will take questions live. We'll ask you to chat with us or maybe raise your hands. We will unmute you and you can live ask the questions to us, or we'll see if the questions are a little bit more, then we'll try to see which question is not a duplicate or which is like more relevant to the session, and we'll try to choose those questions. But the point here is that we'll take question and answers from you and we'll spend good 40 to 45 minutes answering your questions. Now, I want to really put a disclaimer here that this session is only for those people who want to achieve meaningful happiness in this lifetime. Those who are not looking for a meaningful life, a meaningfully satisfied and a happy life, for them this session is optional. Attending the Saturday sessions is compulsory for everybody, but only those who want a meaningful happiness in this very lifetime, they may join this session, and for others it is optional. So with this small announcement, I would like to bring all of you back. And for one moment, I would like to request all of you to turn on your videos, and we'll all together, for the next 2 minutes, we will chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. I'll request so that we see who you are, sincere people attending these sessions. We want to see you, and requesting all of you to turn on your videos. Some faces I know. Thank you very much. Let's engage in the Yuga Dharma. Let's engage in the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. You're all the sages of Kali Yuga. Let's all do this combined sacrifice, combined activity, which will attract the attention of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. Let's all chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. I request you to chant this Panchatattva mantra. This Panchatattva mantra is supposed to be chanted before and after our round. So please repeat with me. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So I thank you, all of you, the sincere sages of Kali Yuga. Thank you for joining in today's discussions. And I'm very, very happy to see that all of you are so sincerely seeking for the truth, waiting till the end, attentively trying to understand, trying to follow, trying to learn. I pray from the core of my heart that may that Supreme Lord Krishna bless you with the Buddhi Yoga, or with the transcendental understanding, so that all of you may attain spiritual success in your lives. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. We'll end the discussion today. We are not taking any questions today. I'll see you again on Thursday, where after chanting one round of the Bhagavad Gita, one chapter of Bhagavad Gita, starting from chapter 1, and one round of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, we'll have a live question and answer session. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.